See if we're even alive yet. Hello, 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 hello. What is YouTube doing? We're alive. Hey, Unofficial. I wouldn't say that you're stalking me because, by gosh, there are people that hear every single stream, so I don't think you can do any better than every single stream. Did you get your machine today, Yindi? Wednesday. It's take forever. Oops. That was to let me know that Micro needs his insulin injection, which fortunately I've already done. Now I'm just quickly wiping down the board so we can have a presentable workplace. Semi-presentable, I guess. Maybe that'll do. Maybe that'll do. Public holiday today. Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Alright. Well, this machine was sent to me by another shop, which funnily enough is called Unofficial Mac. And they sent it as a challenge because it's given them a nightmare. So, you know, every now and then you get to the end of the road with some boards and you basically just give up on the job and you deal with it another way. But it still lingers in the back of your mind. So sometimes you hand it off to someone else you know as a bit of a torturous game. So this is part of the game. And the game is to try and make this thing, which is a glorious 1370, work properly again. I don't know how we're going to go. I was just sent the board, the chassis and everything is something I pulled out of my scrap piles. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to deal with. I can see there's already work on it. We may win, we may not. I don't even know if I've got a screen for this. I'm not sure if a 1466 screen will work on it. Kind of looks like a slightly different connector, but who knows. So, I guess we'll get into it. Let's see, overhead. Hey Paul, Peter, Ed, how's it going, Ed? Hey Alexi. 1370, the one that I have is dust free when I opened it. Found small amounts of coffee residue. Eee. Yeah, coffee residue is no good. Hey Paul Baker. Yep, shirts come off well. One of the shirts. Let's see, so I've got a battery. Supposedly, where's my sticker? Won't charge, had no power, had no Allsys power good, but apparently that did come back, but I think it's probably gone again. Let's get ourselves a fan. I suppose I can use a 1466 fan, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, who knows, I may have a screen, but I just don't know for sure. If the 1466 screen works, then great, I'll just use one of those. This is where Pernov pipes up and gives us our confirmation or denial. Still, I can always use external display. I've got that option always on hand. Okay, let's see. Yeah, MagSafe 1. It's always a classic. Hey, Victor Young. Okay, Chipmunk's in. Hey, oh my gosh, hi, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be studying for life? Got a green light. It's spun for 2/15ths of... I mean, whoa, you can't say that. Spun for 2 moments of an instant then. That's a bad habit from my childhood. I do apologise. So it's kind of a quarter spin, so it could be clock or BIOS related. Let's try again. Not doing it this time. We've got a pulsing power light. I don't know if it's coming up on there or not, but it's definitely pulsing. Gets to about 12 or 13 pulses and gives up. Could be a short. I could have sworn we had a smidge of a spin. Yeah, you're not supposed to say things like that anymore. Because it gets mistranslated. Because to me it was always like a, a little poof, like a nothing, a poof, teenth. But unfortunately it gets misconstrued with other terms, so yep, that one gets thrown out. I don't know if it's a thermal cam heartbeat pulse, that one. It could be, but we'll get back to it. I'm gonna have a look at the board. I should have actually kept it out. I was just seeing, when I put this together, I was just seeing whether I actually had the gear I needed to do this. Hey Max. Yeah, let's have a look at the bird. Mr. Daniels is incapable of speaking properly today. 4 hours sleep will do that. Hey Catherine. I think we can safely take this sticker off. It's only going to get damaged by a multitude of things over time. There we go. Hey Suda. Sudi. I mean, it's comparatively clean. Yeah, let's dive in on the microscope and see if we can spot anything visual. Like the fact that the microscope is not working. What is up with your microscope? The problem with the microscope cable is I can't just swap it for a normal one because this is actually a male to male. It's not a male to female. Come on, turn on. Hey Jim, how's it going? Yeah, I see Keith McDermott's here. Come on. Yeah, there you are. Okay, we are alive. Okay, let's have a look around. So we've got a couple of beaten up components there that I can't seem to focus on for my brains. I'm just gonna be the evil teacher here and red mark. Maybe I'll green mark things today. Male to male USB. Okay, I'm guessing something happened there. They got replaced. I gotta find out why my eyeballs don't want to talk. Okay, that one's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason my eyes just are having a bit of a tricky time. Okay. Sort of got rando flux blotches. Okay, you definitely need some rework. You need rework. Why is that? Hey Wayne, I can get back into a grumpy mood if you like. Okay, so we've got some corrosion here. As the dentist digs in and torches the board. Okay, fortunately was just entirely a test pad. There was no other lines going out under that test pad. So we have corrosion, take out that, and there's a veer on that one. But whether it's an important veer or not is as yet undetermined. Probably not. That's just more of a test pad for some signal that isn't really available anywhere else. You prefer my regular mood? Oh, okay. Some people like it when I yell. Okay, you need rework, so do you. I gotta use red. This green's just vanishing. Okay. That area needs rework. Also, power good chip. I can see there was got an impressive gouge through it. I don't know how that happened. I'd say a tweezer slip. We may replace that, but I doubt it's going to be required. That looks superficial. But none of this is probably going to be the reason why it's misbehaving. Okay, flip side. I was definitely having a cranky pants day, but that's programming for me in general. Interesting that that's got charring on it. Like someone was trying to do something around here. This here looks interesting. It almost looks like some kind of excessive heat going on. You can see these sort of smoky brown fringes. It's strange that they're all around that inductor. It's not really what I'd expect to produce that sort of thing. Scratch nose. Current sense resistor is a little off skew, but shouldn't really be a fault. Alright. 3V42 section needs a rework. This whole... We'll just rebuild that whole thing. I'm kind of curious now. We are getting green light, so it can't be all... Yeah. I'm still going to rebuild it. Yeah, programming brings out my inner reality. Hey Jeff P. AVL Atmel Studio is a Windows owned solution, by the way. Frequent over their crap considering how buggy it is. That's Christian, that's why I'm more than happy just to use Vim. Never had any troubles with Vim. I don't know if that's corrosion or if that's something else, but it... Yeah. Any problems were no charge and cracked screen. Right. You let it go that price because of the screen. Plugged in. Okay. Defcom, you're going to get yourself turfed out talking about Arduino. In my world, Arduino does not exist. Arduino is just a nightmarish construct. Damn it, man, where are my good tweezers? My good shonky tweezers. Oh, what? I have no idea what I've done with my good shonky tweezers. That's gonna make me rage. Hey, any 555? Yeah, Wayne, I mean, you can do that sort of stuff, obviously, but if I get the opportunity, I'm just gonna do it in plain old C. Given that's what Arduino really is. On top of. I just find it clearer when it's done in C rather than Arduino. I just find it's a bit of a generally unnecessary abstraction layer. Hey Sonia, how are you going? Nice when you've got a hot air station that can get this stuff moving back to where it should be. I'm trying to think what that there is for. Hey Gary Dutton, welcome to the channel and the stream. Hopefully it's acceptably entertaining for you in the time that you're here. There can be moments of lulling where nothing much seems to happen. That resistor looks cactus. Yeah, looks like it was a bit absent of solder on the underneath there. What are you even? I have very little to do with this particular board in general that I really don't know what I'm looking at there. I'll have to bring up the board during the schematic and find out what's going on. And that resistor looks shonky to me. It's not sitting right. The end caps feel wrong. Yeah, see, it just falls right off. Now, I do have a bunch of 3023 donor boards, because there was one phase where, way back when I shouldn't say way back, but when I started, I had a number of them come here. First board I pull out, it's one of them. Looks like the universe wants to play games with me today. And oddly enough, that part has also got flux around it, but it could have been from the SMC extraction. So what do you do for a living, Gary Dutton? Or does that need to remain on a need-to-know basis? Hey Diego. What the hell just flew off then? Oh, it was the old chip. Clearly not enough flux there. I'll bring the flux back around once I get the resistor across. Now at this stage I really haven't done any diagnosis work other than just seeing if it will even start up, which it didn't properly. So now once we're done cleaning up stuff, then we can have a look at diagnosing. Oh wow, that resistor looks as bad as the one that I replaced. Civil designer. Okay. So like city buildings, things like that. I'll have to say my main concern on this board is the 3v42 section. That, more than anything else, definitely makes me worried. It's like the loss of my tweezers. I gotta find them. They can't have gone far, surely. Surely. Come on, tweezers, where are you? Ah, found you. Transport. Oh, okay. That's a hell of a challenge. It's almost like no matter what you design, it's always going to be inadequate in 2 years' time. Or you're not going to have the budget to do it the way that you wanted to do it, so that it wouldn't be inadequate in 2 years' time. At least I imagine that's how it must go. You're out of here. And you just reflowed. Big inductor is out. You're out. Ah. You're out, you're out. And you're out. Alright, I think we've got a chance now. Large government rail, okay. Okay, so we've got a missing pad there. I'm gonna guess I'm hoping it's NC. Better be an NC. I feel quite lost, to be honest. Let's see, what am I looking for? Ah, there you are. And yep, it's an NC, so we're okay. Well, now I got butchered though. That's the next concern. Because although it is an NC, it takes a fair bit to lift those ones. It's not like the little delicate BGA ones. We'll just get some leaded solder all over the place so that everything can proceed a lot smoother. Try to reduce the amount of solder in that middle section. It's not really a lot required. It's kind of like having a CPU thermal paste. You just need a smidge, not much more. Hey, Uncle Burr from Moscow. Oh boy, that's a language I don't know. I can barely even remember the Cyrillic alphabet. Get some flux down so we don't oxidize everything. The shakes are because it's a new tube of flux and I'm kind of having to extend beyond my usual strength to squeeze the plunger. Hey, Margarita. That's good. We can clean up the little nubs that it squeezed out a bit later. Just going to grab the caps, move them across. Again, we're not worried about finishing the connections perfectly at this point. We just need to get our bits and pieces attached to the pads and we can throw down a bunch more flux and then let everything reflow nicely. Now I have to get some more tubes of flux. What's not helping is that shipping out of New York from my usual supplier is gone a bit crazy. So I am thinking of just buying a box of flux from Amtech directly. The costs are comparable. I won't use it all up probably, but I might be able to just resell it within Australia. Not that I want to get into that kind of business as a general rule anymore. Come on, what are you stuck down with? Oh, you one of the little blighters that got glue under them. For large parts, sometimes what they used to do is they'll put a little dollop of glue so that the part survives the reflow process without falling off. Okay. This is so tricky with... There we go. There it is. See that little spot of glue there? I've got to find out where that went. It looks fairly large under the microscope. It's not... There it is. There's a little spot of glue. Let's see, Gary Dutton was watching Lewis Rossman's channel as bag import. Oh, yeah. I also need a small job done on MacBook Air 2015. Oh, right, Gary. You've got my... I'm guessing, what, you're in Australia? And if that's the case, then you've got my contact details or my website. But yes, Lewis does take particular pleasure in bagging out the Aussies. Or me in particular. Meanwhile, he, of course, is happy to take the gains in productivity due to the software. Yinda Yamara, you just got to do them one by one. That's the trick. If you don't do them one by one, then yep, you're right. You do forget. Hey, Androx74. Sounds like someone who's 46 years old. Okay, it's looking a bit healthier now. We're not exactly sure what's causing the fault as yet. What we're doing at this point is we're going through the typical, what do you call it? Typical janitor style of repair, where we just look for things that don't look right, we correct them first, and yeah, some more heat up here. This presence of this melting is confounding me at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna guess that was one that I flicked off. Now, I'm not sure why we would get melting. I can't really see too much. Yeah. I'm going to try power it up again, see what happens. Yeah, hi Michael-chan. Tonight I'll try and remember again how to say how are you, or ask how you are. I can do it in Afrikaans. Actually no, I can't, I don't think. I've forgotten that. Oh, memory fails me. I guess that happens after 20 years of not using a language. Did you solve the problem with the 2 MacBooks for the last days? What's happening here? Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What was the last one that I couldn't fix, at least on stream? Probably too many of them. I was working on a 1706 today, which is not my favourite board, but still working on it. And I finally, it was liquid damaged, 5 volts, like 50 milliamps sort of thing, classic sort of no-go scenario. I managed to get the 20 volts back, but then the SSD doesn't show up, so it seems like the Piccolo chip got dirty and killed things, which is unfortunate because the people just wanted their data, but that's the end of the road for that one. Yeah, yeah, no, I can't say it properly anymore, Jim. I've lost the guttural. I can say, man. That's pretty much what I said most of the time when I was on my job and my boss would come in and ask me why something wasn't working. And I'd be, and then he would say something to me like, your ma, and I would not say the rest of it. Okay, we've still got a pulsar. I don't think we are going to... It's interesting that the pulsing goes away. This board you're repairing is for some customer. It's not. It's a challenge board. So it's not really a customer. Okay, let's see what our 3V42 is doing since we just fixed up that. I mean, I know I'm getting a green light, but we'll have a look at 3V42 and we'll also have a look at we're going to have a look at G3 Hot. Jimbo, yeah, it's well, I mean, they're all Germanic type languages, aren't they? I'll bring out the thermal cam when I feel like it probably is going to be a short, but I want to see what's happening on the power rails first. Yeah, so that's actually down quite a bit, 3.31. That should be 3.4. 3.3 doesn't seem like a big drop, but it is enough of a drop actually, because some of the regulators or downstream things that it's powering, they are 3.3 volt output. And so without the extra 100 millivolts, they can drop out of regulation. So that is a little bit low. It's enough to power some things, but it might be causing other things to misbehave. Now, I'm going to guess this is PP bus. And that's all over the damn place. I guess I shouldn't guess what it is and find out what it is. And it's not. That's something about... Nope. Nope. Oh, that's a battery charge, right? Okay. Might help us search instead. PP bus, G3 hot. Let's do an all-in. Oh right, PP bus is just basically everywhere there. Right, 3 fat caps. The fact that we're down to 5.9, 5.7 pulsing, yeah, it's not a good sign. I'm pretty sure that should be higher. Okay, everything is feeling dragged down. We might have a short. I don't know. Let's have a look. Somehow I feel like it's going to be an anticlimax. Okay, so we have to navigate. It's easy if I just do this. Naturally, the chord's always on the wrong. That is a crotch cam shot. Well done, Paul. Bravo. Everybody's traumatized. Now, so we take the board out and look at it from the other side. Hey, Warren Stamps. What's the new? It's the multi-comp something something in the something something system. I can't remember. It's about $350, $360 from Element 14. The primary limitation is that it's RS-232 output only, rather than serial port. But no, I'm happy enough with that. I mean, I've already got a bunch of serial ports on this thing. The upside is it does have 4-wire resistance, so if I'm so inclined I can do some Kelvin resistance testing, which I probably won't, unless I decide that I want to check my 3 phases on my motor or something like that. Warren, this is the FLIR 1 Pro. Okay, we have a look from the other side this time. I'd be curious to see if anything jumps up just when I plug it in. I have my doubts. It seems like it's more faulting than it is shorting, but I could well be proved wrong just now. So much junk on these. Okay, there is something warming up there. What is that? Could be the, what's the bet it's the ISL. Not that that means it's at fault, it just means that's where at least something's happening. You see there's also a bit of activity just here. Oh, that's just a hole. So it's showing what's going on the other side of the board. Okay. Multimeter software stuck. Yeah, it is. I still haven't gotten around to... There we go. I still haven't gotten around to setting up this desktop properly. So unfortunately these sort of things are going to plague me for a little bit. Alright, well, it would appear that the fault is something maybe to do with that. It's interesting to note that my hands are actually hotter than that spot there. But that's where it's getting warm, so I guess that's where we will look. So we're not going to blame the chip, although we may just indiscriminately replace it anyway. I'm fairly sure that's going to be the ISL 9625 or something like that. Because we've got bad... yep, that's it. Oh, seriously, how did I miss that? Oh, that's a crack up. It's so obvious now. Unless it's not. Anyway, let's see if anyone else can spot what I'm looking at. And man, it's been scratched out. How did I not see this? Crazy. Crazy. Okay, the current sensors... One side of the current sensor is being yanked. Which means it's going to forever... It's going to forever have a bad reading, I think. Assuming these are not meant to be bridged. It's nasty solder too. The micro tip is not ideal for removing solder bridges like that. Just does not have the thermal mass, and no, they're not meant to be bridged. Didn't think so. So what was happening is one side of that current sense pair was being pulled off to the side. It's like trying to steer straight with two hands, but then having one hand being dragged off to the side. I'm not saying it's going to fix it, but it may actually work. Oh yeah, I haven't yet got a Windows or Mac OS version of the software. I'm working on it. Come on. No, we're still not quite anywhere. Dang. We are getting... So we've got another fault to deal with. I would say we do replace the ISL. Certainly that bridging was not helping. Hey, some Australian... Jabbar's here. Some Australian use the Amtech... What is it? Amtech 559 V2. It's on my repair items page. Actually, there's a bit of butchery going on over there too. That resistor looks like it's had a better day. Right, to work we go. Hey Pedro. I'd say DEFCON that wasn't helping one little bit. So we don't know what's happened to the chip. I don't know what's meant to be riding on that line. Actually, I can find out. Okay, let's see. Schematic. Get out of here. By the way, I'm controlling the mouse with my right hand, so forgive me. Yeah, so we were tied to charge boot. Yeah, that's not going to help. These lines here generally run at a fairly... Actually, I don't know what voltage they run at. They're high side, so it shouldn't be a problem. There's picking up the voltage that they carry into the chip is actually pretty much on the high side of the battery, so 12, 10 volts or whatever. Not the battery, the DC in. But then what's charge boot? Ooh, we could have killed the CPU. No, we couldn't have. Okay, the function of this charge boot is that it's used to provide energy to turn on the high side gate, the high side MOSFET gate. With N-channel MOSFETs, they are more efficient in terms of their losses. Like, you can get resistances below 1 milliohm in them, but when you're trying to switch them on, and you've got them connected up, you're trying to say switch the 12 volts on. To do that, you have to bring the gate voltage up to around about, well, higher than what you're trying to... what am I talking about? Oh yeah, you need to bring it up higher than what the source is, which is, you might think of the bottom side. So if you're trying to generate, say, 12 volts, then you're going to have to produce a gate voltage of 13 or 14 volts at the very least. And so that's what the purpose of the charge boot capacitor is it provides a reserve that gets put on top of the existing... It's switch capacitor topology. Anyway, that's what it's used for. And I'm just going to toss that resistor. It looks pretty beaten up. And if that's not working, then you won't get your high side MOSFET switching on properly. You can use P-channel MOSFETs because they have the opposite effect, where you often find them... Oh my nose, honestly. To get them to turn on, you pull the gate down. But the trouble is, the resistance of a P-channel MOSFET is substantially higher for a given package or design style, because of the fact that they rely on the holes moving rather than the electrons. So while you might get, say, a 1 milliohm gate resistance on an N channel, you'll probably find for a similar P channel you won't get anything better than about 8 or 10 milliohms. Anyway, blah blah blah. It's actually resistance. You can use MOSFETs as a voltage controlled resistor as well, with the right feedback, and they're very good at it. Hey Zam. Scope view. Sorry folks. There we go. And that ISL looks like it's had a bad day, but we will take that resistor and we will find ourselves a different ISL. And Rico, I manufactured stuff mostly with model aircraft and lithium packs, charging, sensing, testing. Though I must say that probably the most enjoyable project that I did, the most rewarding, was doing the remote collar system for the dingoes on Fraser Island. That was fun. I didn't put the collars on the dingoes, but the collars I did, well, not the collars, but the electronics I did for the remote release were on them. So yeah, rewarding stuff. Yeah, that's had you've had your ISL stripped. Next, Usableaf. Ah, there we go. I've actually still got a few boxes of the stuff of the manufacturing parts that if I wanted to I could start building them again for various things. But honestly, these days China usually produces and commercially sells to retail for a price cheaper than what I can actually buy my individual parts in lots of 1,000 still. But my bill of materials for a given item will be more expensive than what China can sell it for to someone here to buy it on Banggood or AliExpress or whatever. So the only way around that is to manufacture things that they have not decided whatever they've decided that they don't want to manufacture. And then you can go along and have a look and say, oh, I can see a way I can make money off that. In the end though, I did get quite sick of doing it, so I closed it up. It wasn't really earning the money I needed, and I lost a fair bit of the market, or most of us lost a fair bit of the market to a new store in Australia called Hobby King, and they just gutted the market. And I mean, yeah, that's commerce, so bravo to them. But it was around about that time I thought, nope, I've got to get out of this. I'm just not making enough money fast enough, so I'm going to get back into IT. And then a couple of years after that, that's when I got back into repairing computers, as in on the electronics level. And then it wasn't long and I was doing MacBooks. How do you buy stuff off AliExpress? We just go to the website, put whatever we want into the cart, and pay for it through Visa card or a credit card, and that's it. It's harder to buy from Alibaba though. I mean, originally when I was doing all this, when I got started, that's all there was. It was just Alibaba. AliExpress hadn't yet come about, and that was a lot harder because then you had to talk. You're basically talking to the distributors, and sometimes the factory, most of the time just a distributor. Yeah, that was always difficult. And they go, oh, how many cartons of this stuff do you want? And you're like, actually, I only want 100 or something like that. And they're like, ah. And I think they had so much of that's when AliExpress decided to get spawned off, and it was the right choice. Alright, I'm just waiting for this to cool down a little bit. So here we go now. Fan spin, we're alive. It was the ISL and that current sense. Green light. Brain. Worked for the DPI, Pest Animal Group, just after the Dingo project on Fraser. Oh, Dave, cool. Okay. Did you know anyone that was there for the Dingo project? I don't know exactly who it was, whether it was the people that were making the collars that actually went out to the field to put them on and then retrieve them, or whether they handed it off to someone else. The other thing I made was a dingo den camera switch. So they would put this switch and camera into the den of the dingoes, and then they could remotely switch it on and off. That was pretty good. Anyway, this is alive. So it was the combination of that shorted current sense, along with the fact that the ISL had been killed. Lee Allen. No, that doesn't. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Crap. No, can't remember him. No, well. I mean, it was a long time ago now. Still not showing milliamps. I think I know why. This is not the... it's not the right one. I've got... Yeah, here we go. This one here will show the... Yeah, it looks like... So there we go. Alright. Oh, someone's quicker than I am. Okay, let's try this again. This is actually the power supply. No wonder I couldn't see what was going on. I thought it was just because it was dud, and the fact that we didn't have a fan spin just reaffirmed that. Wow, how bad are you? I think I have a bad MagSafe 1 cable. Oh, there we go. There we go. Scratch nose. So the trouble is that I had, because I was testing a machine the other night that needed a full 85 watt MagSafe 1, I had a genuine MagSafe 1 plugged in, and that was the cable I was picking up. I better take the MagSafe 2 out as well. Normally they're not there. Normally I just have the power supply ones. But, yeah, sometimes you got to bring in the originals just to double check things. Okay, so there you go. That's definitely booting. I wonder if... Yeah, we really need to see if we can get a display output. What have we got? We've got DisplayPort here. Unfortunately I can't capture it for you. But, let's see. So does anyone know if 1466 will work? Probably shouldn't take the risk. Where is my DisplayPort to HDMI converter? There we go. So that, I'll also plug in a hard drive, which I know is around here. There it is. Maybe a keyboard too. Though I could have used the chassis that I had as a keyboard, but oh well. And that means I'm now going to lose that display. That's okay. HDMI. Excuse me. Okay, looks like we've got a boot. It is blinking. And I can see the screen's already changed. And we're going to wait about 2 minutes before that comes up to life. Did most chat stop all of a sudden, or are we still there? We're still there? Yep. Did I press the wrong key? No, there you go, still going. Maybe I should have just left it unplugged and looked for the blinking folder. Because this still hasn't actually gotten to the final test, which is I'm supposed to check to see if it charges the battery. So we'll do that in a second. I've got a spare battery here. This thing seems somewhat fractionally disinclined to boot. Maybe severely disinclined to boot. Alright. Maybe it's got sensor issues and it's taken forever. Yeah. Let's plug that in. It's definitely generating a signal at least. Try control. And we'll have a track of the current. So it looks like we're charging. We're already over 1 amp. Could someone put a ping on the chat? Because I don't seem to have chat. Oh wow. Alright. Looks like for some reason chat died. I'm popping it back out. Crikey, I lost a bunch. And Pianov now tells me that 1466 will work. Okay. Well, we're almost at 2 amps, so that's definitely a... And it's turned orange, so we definitely know it's charging. It's just having a brain fart there. Given that the screen should work, that's fine. We can use this one. Disconnect. Oh, of course it still runs because it's on the battery. Well, there's proof that that works. Okay, we'll switch back to EGA. And I'm back. No, I don't have a 2012 chassis, unfortunately. Yeah, let's see how we go. As you can see, it is booting. I'm just not sure if I'm holding down the right keys for this to select from the external drive. I mean, it is looking at the external drive, but it doesn't seem to be giving me an option to boot from it. But we know it's charging, it is booting. I guess we just want one final proof of life. Nice to know that extension cable works on that. What can I do? I could always try putting ASD on there, but I'm not sure what key. Geez, we've got the junk heads around already. Not sure what key I need to be using here. I guess the first thing we could try, since we can't get anything else, is just let it... Actually, we didn't get a bong. Oh, there's no speaker. Mr. Daniels, there's no... It's not turning off because of battery. There we go. We'll leave that disconnected for now. Yeah, I was thinking Alt key, but it didn't seem to work. Anyway, we're just going to let it boot and see if we get a flashing logo. At least if we get a flashing logo, we know we've got something. I just realised that needs to be disconnected too. Hopefully that didn't modify the screen selection. We'll only charge to 55%. Okay, well, I guess we have to first get it to boot before we can even test that. Okay, so we've got a blinky blink. That's the first thing we wanted. Now we take the next step. Sometimes you got to do this. Sometimes you got to go back to the start. Yeah, I don't know what happened to chat, but it certainly broke for me. It just sort of stopped and that was it. Yeah, I'm holding down Alt. Hopefully it'll come up. Now we just got to check that it goes beyond 55%. That could have been a battery issue, but then again, the way that ISL looked, it wouldn't have been going anywhere. Noni Gaming, Noni. It's that multi-level marketing juice scam. It's almost like I need to get the MRI. Hey .jlm. I think I need to get the MRI. For some reason it doesn't want to boot from this. So I've got to find the MRI. I have got multiple copies of the MRI, but for some reason it seems that they are always in the wrong room. I could almost think that says MRI, but I don't think it does. Sys rescue, that's no good. I'll have to go downstairs, grab the ones that I do have, and then I'll come back up here and find the one that was up here. Yeah, because I'm not sure why that's not bringing up any boot options yet. Let's see, my only other... No. I'm just going to go get the MRI. Oh, blimey heck, I walk away and it boots. Oh well, I got the MRI. Yeah, I can't believe that. Oh well. At least I know if I'm patient in future it will come good. So it's booting into a Sierra, I think a High Sierra system. Oh man, this noise is driving me insane. It's okay, that's what it does, it will come good. And this is my testing system. So I've got my keyboard tester, my Unigene Valley, my audio test, all that sort of stuff on it. And that will give us a chance to also check to see the battery capacity once it eventually comes up. This may still have sensor issues, which is why the MRI is still going to be useful. And I suppose an ASD. I'm not quite sure which ASD I need for this one, but I can just check that on the website. It's blasting pretty hard, so I'm thinking there may be a sensor issue. To explain why it's so slow. Come on, boot, 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 boot. Oh, rather, finish booting. This is like being back in 1990, waiting for your PCXT to boot in the morning, waiting for it to get through its config sys and auto execute.bat file. So give you time to go get your coffee while you wait for the big hard drive to spool up. Check that old ST225, make sure it's got no bad spots on it. It was 2 in 1990. Well, okay. Well, in some ways you missed out on the worst of the computing world, and some ways you missed out on the best. But be thankful that you get the much better stuff these days. Nostalgia is a lie. Oh, come on. How long does it take to boot? It's spinning crazy at the moment. You can see what's going on, yeah. And it is, you can see it flickering. But there's clearly something it's not happy with. I'm thinking maybe MRI is going to be the better choice anyway. It hasn't gone to sleep, that's for sure. It's running like crazy. Yeah, my first PC was a 8088, but it did at least have the 10 megahertz boost turbo function on it, which of course is primarily what it stayed on. Unless you were playing a game that had the timing hard-coded in it and you had to go back to 4.77. Off-topic chat question: Do you guys think if a screen is fully lit but showing sign of liquid having dried in the laser diffuser, can I just clean it? No. Usually not. No. It's usually gone between the diffuser layers or the polarizer layers. Hey, Ian Robinson. Yeah, my first hard drive was the Seagate ST225. That was the 20 megabyte MFM. And I was very jealous of the people who were rich enough to have the RLL 40 megabyte version. Alright, this is taking too long. So there's obviously something it's not happy with. I mean, it's happy enough that it's alive, but it's still not 100% happy. And so I'm gonna knock it off. And give it the MRI instead. The MRI won't necessarily give me everything, but it might give me some indication if there is really an issue or not. It's going to complain about a hell of a lot of things though. Don't have touchpad connector. Oh, of course. Thanks, Pernoff. Yeah, I don't think I've got. Yeah, I'll have a look through my scrap pile. I'll just put the donor boards away. Oh, come on, you're in the way. Oh, I just realised, Pernoff, I've got one right here. I can use it. This is 1369 chassis for the 3023. I had it all along. I could have just plugged that straight in. I'm an absolute idiot. I'll just disconnect that. We're not going to go anywhere in a hurry with that. Why didn't you people stop me from doing the obviously wrong thing? By the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome to what happens most times. I go off on a tangent, and then I have a moment of realization, usually because Pernov or someone else reminds me that I've forgotten something that was blatantly obvious. So here we do have, in fact, a keyboard, a trackpad, everything. Just turn on the light so I can see what I'm doing. Because the camera compensates for all of you, it isn't compensating for me though. I'll put a speaker in just so we get a nice noise. Yes, we're definitely putting the speakers in. We've got to have the chime. There was, however, a screw here somewhere which is now taking a walk. Because I got all creative and waved that thing around. Whoops. That's okay. We'll just steal another 1466 screw. I'm fairly sure that's going to be reasonably compatible. Anyway, as I was saying to the new people here, if you want to see a technician who has plenty of blunders in any given day, then you're in the right place. The joy of live streaming is that I can't edit out my level of competence. Okay, you're not going to be a match, so I can't use the cheese head. That's just to stop the fan flying out. This is to stop the PCB drifting out. Okay. Jason, this is just a kitchen silicon mat, cooking mat. Get it on eBay for like $10 or something like that. Cheap as. Does the job very well. I mean, it will get burnt, as you can see, but it still does a pretty good job. Okay, well, since in this case we now have a trackpad and keyboard hopefully functioning, we're going to try our MacBook boot again. Yes. I'm going to do it this way so you can see, but for me it's actually inconvenient, but we'll do it this way so everyone else can see. We'll turn that light off again. Wonder if we'll get a bong. Didn't get a bong. Could be that the volume's turned down. Oh, check it out. That actually came up quickly. There we go. "1% of his jobs are fit for stream." I don't know. I mean, I would have thought around about 50% would be okay. I guess it depends on what original stat he's pulling from as his pool of jobs. Especially now that he just does his live streams and he picks and chooses as he wants. This is certainly running a lot quicker now. Thank you, Pownov, for reminding me. Hey, Winfield, how's it going? Crazy J, that's no good. No good at all about the crack screen. It's like the 1706 I just did today. I finally get it back up and give me 20 volts and the SSD won't be detected. So it looks like Piccolo did get junk under it on the 1v2 SSD hotline, I think it was. And so I'd say it's corrupted the data. Hey, we are alive. Guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to connect the battery. Well, let's plug that in. So I should be able to do this. Come on. Pioneers have been idiots here. You didn't forget. No, I never took the lifeboat cap off because I know that causes trouble. Okay, battery. Battery doesn't want to sit in now. Come on. Did I just kill it? I think I just made it angry. Yeah. I must have killed it. Oh no, it's going off battery. What's going on here? Right. Okay, we're up to 45% right now of the battery. Let's put in my super secret password, which is 1111. What? You don't like my password? 1111? Yeah. Clearly I don't know how to type 1111. There could have been, but there was definitely junk and corrosion under the piccolo, and that is a fairly common way that the SSD gets damaged. Okay, so 45%, we've got no Wi-Fi, that's to be expected. Hardware monitor, CPU is running a little hot, but that could be just it needs new thermal paste or something. Or the fact that it's not really sitting in the case properly, so it's kind of blowing air all over the place rather than anywhere efficiently. One, two, three, four, five. Oh, okay. I know you get people who just their password is just like a strip of keys and they just run their finger along like that. Okay, so now we've got to wait till we get past 55, I believe. Is that correct? We're currently charging at an interesting cycling through the current quite a bit here. We're going anything between 1.7 up to 2.4. Hey Jabara, welcome back. So yeah, we're just waiting, there's a number up here. Wish I could do a big screen version. Up to 48%. Starting to get the perfect time to start Eugene Valley, which means it will cripple the battery. Oh, you never left? Okay, you were just sitting back being a good observer and remaining quiet. So we just gotta wait. Shouldn't be too much longer. Hey Justin Brown. Get the ice pack out. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the current's jumping around quite as much as it is. Because I can't imagine that the internal charge algorithm is that different between them because they both use the same ISL chip as say like a later 1466. Some of the load can be explained by the system just doing whatever it wants to do. Maybe it's trying to update things. But it usually doesn't flicker around quite this much. Oh well. It's pulsing on 3 Hertz, okay. It could be the battery at fault too. I actually haven't checked to see if that battery is any good. It was just one I pulled out of my stack. I have a bad tendency of putting bad batteries back into the stack because I have a habit of sort of going, I'll check that battery out later to confirm that it is dead, and that means it gets put back into the use these batteries pile, and the cycle just continues. We're up to 50% now anyway. While you're waiting, just put a little sand on the stage and do a native shim sham dance. Joseph, yeah, I can't dance to save my life. I'm like Phil Collins. Is that a game? JP? No, it's a GPU CPU test type program. It's just it really puts a strain on the system, particularly the GPU, and so that's a good way of determining whether things can handle the heat, the temperatures, and it also lets you know. It lets me know very quickly too if perhaps the CPU is not being cooled enough, like as if in the heatsink is not sitting down properly or something like that, because I'll know what sort of frames per second to expect from it for any given machine. Like say on a 1466 3437, I should expect around about 14 frames per second on the configuration I have. If it's constantly running at around about 5 or 6, then I know that there's probably a gap in the in the thermal pipe. Okay, we're at 51. I wonder if the 55% limitation was due to the current sense being yanked off to the side. Waiting, waiting, waiting. 51. This is as bad as me watching my subscriber count sometimes. Which means it should probably drop to about 49 really soon. Yeah, Justin, that was always fun. Like if if you got the port configurations wrong, or screens were the other problem, yeah. Like with X11, if you got the screen modes wrong, you'd ruin your CRT monitor. Uh, the good old days. I do not miss the good old days. I mean, there was certain enjoyment in the simplicity of what we had back then, but I do not enjoy the good old days. I enjoy my large, very colourful screens. I enjoy my high-speed internet. I enjoy my surface mount components. Yeah. Thank you, Sonia. You're doing your job very well there. Hey, Stockholms. You can blame the guy just above you, Jason Cozzi. A brief list of things wrong with it. There was a bunch of soldering that really had to be reworked. It looked like basically there'd been no flux used and either a cold iron or a small tip iron, or no hot air being used, or lead-free solder rather. The whole 3V42 section I had to redo. It may have been working, but yeah, I was a little bit iffy about it. There are a few other spots on the board that I just sort of reflowed. But the real kicker was the ISL. The ISL had a great big blob short between, let's see, while we're waiting for this, let's see, schematic. Yeah, the ISL had a great big blob of solder between these two pins here. So charge boot and charge CSIN, and of course that obviously would completely mess up the current sense for the ISL, and the ISL itself was damaged, so that also completely messed everything up. So I got rid of the bridge, replaced the ISL, replaced this resistor here. I don't know what R7000's for. SMC reset to charge a reset. And at that point, that's when it booted. We have 54% now. Oh, the old Sound Blast. The SB15s, by the time they got to that point, at least they were okay. Okay, we have... See, 8 people played on it as a training board. Oh, they left their fingerprints on there. Oh well, that's why you have training boards, isn't it now? I mean, much better that than someone's $2,000 MacBook. So, bravo for going that route than any other. I mean, I'm sick to death of seeing the number of machines coming in here that have been worked on by professionals who charge, and they've been butchered. I mean, I'm happy at least they do hand them off. That's good. But I do wish they would perhaps either upgrade the equipment or, I don't know, maybe not open them up in the first place. But then we always say that. I mean, I'm sure if I handed this off to someone else who's done it for longer than me, they'll make the same comments towards me. It's like, Mr. Daniels, you really shouldn't be doing this. Maybe you should think about training more. We're at 56% now, so we've gone past the 55% limitation. What am I going to do with a 3023? I'm sending it back to... I don't have a 3023. I just don't get them anymore. Except for this. This is the first 3023 I've had in well over 12 months. I'll send it back with the next machine. Oh, no, actually, I'll send it back with the other ones, yeah. That 1398 battery should arrive tomorrow. And then I can test and see what's going on. But I think you're going to have a fun time with that machine. I don't know whether you want to try and just tell the customer that it's not worth it and maybe buy the chassis off them or something. I don't know, get the data off, migrate them to a new machine. Anyway, I'll leave that to you. That's your business, not mine. I mean, I'm saying that in a way that means I'm sorry, I shouldn't actually be prying into what you're going to do. Okay, 57%, so we're well past the 55% limitation. That's why it's a training board. Can't sell it. Well, send it back and let them muck it up again and they can practice again. Yeah, keyboard replacements, no fun at all. I don't mind doing the 1466 keyboards. They're pretty quick and easy. But the Retinas, I don't know, I just don't really get along with them as well. PNP, plug and play. Anyone remember the Diamond Max graphics cards? I remember getting my first TNT 32 card. That was quite a monumental moment. And then a bit after that, Diablo 2 came out, and yeah, needed more power to run that Diablo 2 at 640 by 480. Like I said, I'm glad that we have come as far as we have in the last 20 years. Diamond Stealth. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I remember we used to get them a fair bit for the rich people. No, for the people who, wanted to push the graphics on their machine a bit more. Because particularly back then, trying to do even just normal word processing, it was a nightmare unless you had something with a bit of beef in it. What about the T-Seng 88, 87, 88, and 8900 boards? And then finally we got off to the, what were they? 3D Labs, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm glad for it all to be over. The Voodoo's with the other one, the Banshee. The Banshee was a good card. Still got the Voodoo 2 SLI. Wow. Phew. Yeah, with the loopback cable. Oh man, all the memories that come back. Hopefully others don't. Temperatures are all coming back down to normal, so that's pretty good. Let's run... Oh, wrong trackpad pull. So let's run the Valley test. And this should make it scream a little bit. Notice how it changes the color tone. to do the graphics test. It does that on all of them. Looks like we've got sound running. Hey Ben Wilson. What are we going to get? 3-4 frames per second on this thing? We've got a 3 or 4, yep. 6, 7, ooh, we might get up to about 10 or 12, up to 13, wow. Okay, we're doing alright. Stuttering a bit, but who can blame it? Poor thing's struggling. No, it's not bad. It's actually doing alright considering what it is. Quality. It's on medium quality. Let's drop it to low. Hey Roblox Gaming, we're just testing it now. We've actually finished repairing it. We've done the hard bit, now we're just wasting time patting ourselves on the back really. So nothing all that interesting, I'm afraid. Well this is good, and we're up to 60% charge, so everything is running as I would like. Board is fixed, challenge is completed. Yeah, switches back to the more warm display. Shut down. Shut down. We're done. Machine is fixed. Oh, Hercules always it was good, and then you bought that little program that would let you run CGA games on a Hercules system. That got me through for quite a while. Okay, this battery's going to want to try and drop out on me as I lift it over. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the challenge there, Jason. I'm glad to have solved it and not been defeated by it. I'll put this through the ultrasonic. Clear all the junk off. At least then it's a working reference board too. I just got scared by myself then for a second. I was looking up at the YouTube video window. I didn't realise, I thought I was looking at the open broadcaster one, which is basically, you know, as I wave my hand, I can see it happening on the screen. But I was glancing up at the YouTube one, which is delayed by about 20 or 30 seconds, and I'm seeing all this motion against what I thought was the wall. And I thought, there's another person in here? No, it's just my hand. Scared by my own shadows. Something to be proud of. Did the GIF files. Yeah. I wrote a program that would do that. Back before the internet was really big, as in everybody had it, and you would, what was it? There was an archive place. What was it called? Like Archive 2012 or something like that. And you used to buy like a 6-pack of CDs, which essentially had almost everything that was you wanted on the internet on the CDs. Wish I knew what the name of it was. And so instead of getting the internet at 1200 bytes per second, or maybe if you're rich, 2400, maybe if you're disgustingly rich, 9600, but then you'd use up your monthly allowance in 2 minutes. I was trying to think what it used to be called. The GL files, weren't they the animated versions? And you'd just have to sit there and wait for it to load the frames bit by bit. Roblox gaming. Anyway, well, that's it. Like I said, this will go into the ultrasonic clean. I consider this battle over. I can now retire successfully tonight. I've earned my ice cream. Okay, this is the 1466 chassis. I may as well leave that in there. And that. This, on the other hand, is for this. So I'll just make sure I stick it with that other shot. I got flux all over my hands. Good to know I kept this one. I knew it'd come in handy one day, but yeah, wasn't sure when. If I saw the name of what the place was, it straight away come up in my head. Just frustrating that I can't remember it. I mean, yeah, this is like, we're talking 1991, 92, so it's a bit of a while ago. I can vaguely see it in my head. Certainly when we were at university, we'd always go into that particular server and get what we wanted. But no, it's defeated me now. Oh well. Oh well. We'll try to leave the channel on a high. And I will maybe see you all tomorrow. Depends what turns up in the mail tomorrow. If there's some machines in there that we can fix, we'll give it a shot. If not, I won't be here. What's inside the ultrasonic cleaner? Cleaning fluid, water, and a couple of bits of metal. That's about it. But nothing else for the moment. Alright, I'm out of here. Okay, you'll take care. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, be good. If you can't be good at it. And I'll see you then.